Okay, Lovepreet. All right, the fit interview is finished. Seems like you have some, good experiences to share. We're now going to move on to the case interview portion. How do you feel about it?
Good. Good.
Great. So let's go ahead. Our client is a premium manufacturer and seller of women's leather handbags and shoes in the US. They are among the leaders in the segment in which they operate, which is a mid to premium price range, and they wish to grow rapidly and have approached you for possible options. Every store is selling both bags, which takes 80 square meters, and shoes, which take 120 square meters. And in addition, they have non-revenue generating areas such as the cash register, making the total size of each store slightly over 200 square meters.
Sorry, so the non-revenue generating square meters, what was the value?
There isn't any. So the
Is
total size the total size of the store is slightly over 200 square meters.
Yes. Okay, so our client is a premium women's leather and handbags and women's leather handbags and shoes brand. They would like to grow rapidly, and hence they've contacted us. Something I would like to ask is, are there any measures of success for this project?
Let's see. So the goal is to increase revenues. That is their objective. There's no information as to figures or time frames, just increase revenues.
Okay. And would you have any information about their supply chain from end to end?
Yes, so they have a manufacturing strategy where they source and manufacture at low cost destinations. But then the company designs for their products are in the company's design studios in the United States.
Okay, and just to understand their business model some more, what's their sort of value proposition for their clients, their customers? Mhm.
So they offer the products of handbags and shoes, and they offer them to the mid to high end segment. So they're the market leader, so that's their value added. They're the leading market leader of this industry and segment.
Yes, and then in terms of customers, what's their target customer demographic? Is there any information?
Um, yeah, just they offer from a mid to premium price range, so that's their customer. Just they
Yeah,
they can afford that price
yeah.
range.
And then in terms of market size, we know that they're a market leader.
Yes, yes, they are the market leader.
Okay. Okay. Now, if you don't mind, could I have a minute to structure an approach addressing the question of how we can increase revenue for our client?
Yes, that'd be great.
Thank you. I'm ready to share my framework.
Great, let's
So
go ahead.
yeah, so really here, the question we're trying to address is how can we increase revenue for our client? And there's two main categories of things I would like to look at. The first being the sort of internal situation within the company in terms of the revenue, so the volume and price that we have, and along with the company elements. The second is the sort of extrinsic aspects of the environment that can impact the volume or the revenue that we're generating. So under the revenue, I would like to take a look at two things primarily, or three, sorry. The first being the volume, so the quantity sold. Under this of the quantity sold. The second would be the average price of our goods that we are selling. And the third would be the company itself. Under the extrinsic side, I would like to consider three things. First, the market itself and how is the market in a good position for a client to increase revenue. The third is competitors. Are there competitors in the way that will prevent our client from generating the revenue they desire? And the third would be our customers. So are we meeting the needs of our customers in a way that our client can increase revenue? Now,
Great.
underneath the volume, the volume being sold, I would like to take a look at the product categories and what the volume is underneath those categories. And if there's room for maybe possibly a new product that we can develop. And then under the price, I would like to take a look at the prices and the changes that are going on there. And as an intersection between two, I would like to look at what's being sold among the product category and what's generating the most revenue. And within the company itself, I would consider the operations. So is there something part of the operations that can improve to increase revenue? I would like to look at the supply chain to ensure that from end to end, there's nothing coming in between of us providing the goods to our customers and quality goods to our customers at the end. And third, I would look at marketing and sales because, as you had mentioned, that the brand, the way they sell their goods is through displays. So we have to take a look at the merchandising and make sure the product is shown in a way that customers want to buy it. Now, taking a look at the extrinsic elements here of the market itself. The market, I would like to consider the size of the market. So is this a very fragmented market where it's going to be hard for us to capture more market share and increase our revenue based on the amount of competitors we have? Or is this something really flexible? I would also consider the trends in the market. So are there certain trends that we aren't hitting on, which is why, or are there trends that we can pick up on to increase our revenue and maybe incorporate those in our design? Underneath competitors, I would look at new entrants. So are there new entrants in the market or competitors that might hinder our ability to generate revenue or increase revenue? And the second part would be to look at their value propositions. So there's something our competitors are doing that we can also be doing to generate more revenue. And lastly, underneath customers, I would look at the value proposition. So what are we offering that's unique to our customers and how can we capitalize on that more? And the second would be the demographic and the segments of our customers to ensure that we're targeting the right customers. So unless you have a space where you think we should start off, I would like to start off by considering how much revenue we're generating within our store locations.
Great, absolutely. Yes, there is some information about the revenue that our stores generate, but first, I'd just like to hear your opinion. Should our client target our existing customers, which is the women's category, or should they also target men?
I believe our client can also target men, but what they would have to consider is really explore the elements of the market. So are we well positioned to position ourselves to adhere to what men desire in the leather goods and shoes department in the market? So I would do a thorough research and really determine if we can meet the needs of that market and if there is room for us to enter that market. Given our existing internal company capabilities and also given our brand imaging.
Great, absolutely.
Mhm.
Great. So let me see. Let me pull up the information we have about our current
Mhm.
revenue. Oh, 1 second. There's a bit of an issue. Great. Do you see the exhibit?
Yeah, thank you. So In the exhibit, we have product categories, we have display space, unit price, and we have unit sales month. Now, the unit sales per month is the number of units that we're selling. Is that correct?
Yes, the unit sales, this is the unit sales per month.
Okay, so given this, I would like to calculate the units we sell per display space for the product categories, and I would like to then calculate the the average unit we're selling per display square meter. So that's something I would like to do. Taking a look at this graph, this table, is that okay? Is that a right approach?
Yes, it looks like that's a good way to approach this.
Yes.
Could I ask what's your objective with performing this calculation? What are you hoping to
Yes,
achieve?
so with performing this calculation, I would like to see which product category per square meter is generating the most revenue for our client. And so perhaps from learning that, we can see what categories we can work more on to increase their revenue. And because that's the source of most of the revenue right now, so we can capitalize on that more.
Absolutely, given the space that the space constraint we have, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
great.
Given the display space. So I'm just going to make a table where I'm writing down the product categories down, and then I will describe my formula to you.
Great.
So starting to calculate the unit sales per square meter. So for bags, I would divide 2,500 by 80,000, which is really dividing 25 by 8. So for that, we get a ratio of 80 to 20.
This is for the bags category.
Yeah, sorry, to 30.
Yes. So yes.
Yes. And then the next one will be shoes. So for that, we would divide 2,400 by 120, which is, when I take away the zeros, is the same as 24 divided by 12, which is giving us 2. So that would be a ratio of 120 to 20. Oh, 200? No, yes, 20.
Yes.
Mhm. Okay. Now the next category is perfumes. So I would do the 2,700 divided by 90. When I take away the zeros again, it's basically the same as 27 divided by 9, which is 18. $27, so this is the same as 3. So this ratio is going to be 90 to 30. Now the sunglasses, 600 divided by 30, which is the same as 6 divided by 3, which is the same as, which is 20 in this case. So our ratio here would be 600 to 20. Then the last one, which is the wallets, is 850 divided by 50, which is the same as 85 divided by 5. Which is, one moment. Which is the same as 17.
Great.
Now, given that we have this ratio of what the unit sales are per square display space, I would like to calculate the revenue per per the unit sales per display space. So for that, we would start off by multiplying 30 multiplied by 400.
For the bags, right?
For the bag, sorry, yes, which is the same as 1200. Then we would calculate for the shoes, which would be 20 multiplied by 250, which is the same as 5,000.
Well, I'll let you just go back really quick. Maybe we should check your number with the revenue per square meters for the bags. You said 1,200, right? Maybe we should check the number for that.
Yes, okay, sorry. Oh, sorry, wrong number. Wrong number? No. 400 multiplied by 30, right?
Yes.
Um,
Right. So just to help you out a bit, so 400 times 3, right? Or so multiply 400 times 30. So what's 400 times 3? It's Lovepreet.
yes.
So 400 times 3, right? Instead of
Yeah.
400. It's,
Yeah, so that's 1200, right? And then I add one more zero.
yes. Yes.
Yeah, but isn't that the answer I said before?
Oh,
I
was
said,
that? Oh,
yeah, I said
12,000.
12,000. Yeah,
Oh,
12,000.
excuse me.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry. I
it's
heard that
okay.
wrong.
Then perfumes is 90, is going to be, sorry, 30 multiplied by 100, which is 300. No, sorry, 3,000. And then we have sunglasses, which will be 20 multiplied by 600, which is the same as sorry, which is same as 12,000, right? Or
Well, we're multiplying by unit price, right? So it's 150, not 600.
so sorry, so sorry.
No problem, no problem. Yeah, take your time. One by one.
Yeah. So that'll be the same as 15 multiplied by 2, which is, it'll be 3,000 as well.
Yes.
Then the last one, which is going to be 17 multiplied by 110, which is the same as 11 multiplied by 17. Which is the same as, let me just confirm, sorry. Yeah, which is the same as 1870.
Yes, there we go.
Perfect. So based on this, what we can infer is that as from our the information you had shared earlier, the bags and sunglasses are the main two things that our client produces and what they're known for as well. And that seems to be the case here, that even given the unit sales per the square space, that's where most of the revenue is coming from. So it's coming from the bags as the number one category, and then the shoes as the second. But there's something of a concern with the shoes, is that we do have a lot of display space for shoes, but not that much revenue, but that's possibly something we can work on. And then we see that the newer categories like perfumes, sunglasses, and wallets, they're not performing as well, which is expected in this case. So to increase revenue, I would focus on capitalizing on the two categories that are generating the most revenue right now, and also the categories our client is best known for. From here, I would like to consider possibly go into considering what ways our client can look to increase revenue. What would you suggest?
Yes, yes. So it looks like the bag and shoes is a good way to move forward. Let's see. Well, our clients considering new geographical locations for our stores. So just like to get your idea, But considering possible geographic locations for new stores or expansion, what factors would you consider?
Yes. Could I have a minute to jot down some of my ideas?
Yes, sure.
Thank you. I have four primary things that I would consider. The first being our customers. So would the store location be where our customers are? And especially our customers given their socioeconomic status and their income levels. So are these people that would shop at our premium stores? The second would be our supply chain. So are these store locations in places where we can easily send our products or develop a system to send our products in a timely manner? The third would be competitors. So are competitors very well situated in these locations? Would we be able to sell our goods in the same area as them, or do we need to be at a further distance? The fourth would be cost. So what would be the cost, like the rent and the investment cost that would go into opening new locations in a new location? Along with other regulatory and legal aspects of opening up a new location.
Great. Great. Those are all some great ideas. So with the locations considered, on a broader scale, what are some possible options for new market entry or expansion? And what are the pros and cons of each option?
Yes. Could I have a minute to note down my thoughts?
Yes, sure.
Thank you. Great. I'm ready to share my ideas.
Sure, go ahead.
So the first, I have four ideas to share. The first is acquisition. So we could acquire a different brand that's doing something that would help us increase revenue, be it maybe they're making a new product or they have a better store design or something of that sort that would help us optimize. So maybe they have a shoe that we aren't designing or a bag that we aren't designing. So the pro here is that we're going to acquire their work that we can capitalize on. The con here is the cost and the legal and legal work that goes into acquiring a company. The second is a joint venture. The pro of this is that we'll capitalize on someone else's skill and ability and reputation. The con of this is branding. So if we work with another leader in the leather goods department, their reputation might overpower our reputation, our contribution to that joint venture. The third would be marketing and sales. So we could capitalize and market our goods better and sales and merchandise our goods better. The pro of this is that we have the team. We could develop them more to learn how to do better marketing and sales. The con here would be the cost associated with training and the cost associated with implementing these new strategies, and marketing can be expensive. The fourth and final idea here is of a new product. The pro of this is that we have the reputation that we can leverage in the leather goods industry. So be it if we want to go into the luggage department or we want to go into creating leather iPhone cases and so forth. The con is that we need to, it could be expensive. There's going to require an investment. There's existing competition in the market that we would also have to do more research about before we enter that sort of space. So that wraps up my 4 ideas.
Absolutely. Great. Those are some great ideas.
Mhm.
So, our client from the luxury brand goods walked in, the CEO. They would like to know your final recommendation, regarding the objective. What would you suggest?
Yes. Could I take a minute, if you don't mind, to just put my recommendation together for our client?
Yes, please. Go
Thank
ahead.
you. Okay, I'm ready to share my recommendation.
Great. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you for letting us work on this problem. It was quite an experience. And what we were aiming to address, the question here was to how can we increase revenue for our client? And what we've decided is that our client should, what we recommend is our client should work on the bags and shoe category segments to maximize revenue. The reasons for this is that these are the most growing and most concentrated segments for our client. This is where they generate the most revenue. This is the place also where they display most of their goods. So this is a place where they can really capitalize. And the risk associated with our recommendation at this moment is that there might be a missed opportunity in the other segments, like the sunglasses and the wallets, for example. And there are going to be costs associated with implementing more metrics and more methodologies to maximize the revenue in the bags and shoes category. The next steps for us would be, if given more time, would be to determine how we can maximize revenue in the bags and shoes category while mitigating any risks of not exploring other opportunities or avenues. Thank you for your time, and it was a great experience.
Great.
Mm.
All right. Great job, Lovepreet. How do you feel? How do you feel?
This felt so much better. I wish it went like this yesterday.
Yeah, yeah. No, you did a great job. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I hope
So,
I hope I can do something similar to this on Friday.
yeah. How do you feel? I mean, how do you think you did comparison? You said you feel you did better, and you definitely did. But what did you
Yeah,
think
I
you
felt so much
did
better.
different?
Like I felt more in control, I think that's also because, like, for instance, with the structure, it's very basic, like what I have written here. But when I was talking, I was like, increase revenue. And then those questions followed up, like when I explained the category and I didn't mess up the formula. So volume times price for revenue.
Yeah, yeah.
The math, I also remembered from yesterday because it was a big lesson. I, was like, yeah, obviously, when you look at the graph, you see display space and you see units and you see price. Now, what can we do? We can determine per the display space. We can determine the revenue per square space. So that was clear. And I think the math was better for me today because yesterday I worked on it more. That obviously you can get rid of the zeros when you multiply and when you divide, and that makes it easier. So that was something that I think was helpful. Then obviously reviewing the mini MBA stuff, and then the other stuff comes back to me because I studied this stuff in school. But reviewing that really, I was like, okay, I know the technical terms, like, which I felt like I was forgetting. Then with the recommendation, what helped was I just wrote down the 5 R's, and then and then made some quick notes. So when I was
Great.
talking about it, I knew what to say, and I didn't take too long, I think, writing them down.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's sort of my takeaway here. Do you have any feedback you'd like to give?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So definitely your conclusion, I was very, that was a great conclusion. You just
Yeah.
nailed it. I really, I don't say that like, flippantly either. Just like, what, I really should, that was a great conclusion. It seemed practiced and your risk was great. I don't even think that was mentioned um, in the actual thing. So that was great. I didn't even, overall, just great conclusion. But to go back, I mean, great. So the opening was good. It was great, really great. Just clarifying the objective. I something that I had a problem with in my work with my case coach last time. That
Yeah.
I think you like struggled a bit with, but not as much as I did, was like asking a lot of questions.
Yeah.
No, no, I think maybe you asked like one or two more questions that weren't entirely relevant. I don't remember which one, but overall,
Yeah.
great clarifying questions.
Yeah,
Great
so
job.
Stephen, what I tried to do there was I reviewed the mini MBA, like the supply chain stuff, and they're
Yeah,
like, oh, so supply chain is end to end. So you can ask, like, could you describe the supply chain end to end, like to get an understanding of the process? And then with with understanding the business model, it's like if you ask about what's the value proposition, what customers, there's one element I'm missing, couldn't remember, but that's understanding their business model. So I tried using those categories to ask
mm,
context questions. Because
absolutely,
it's quite
absolutely.
all encompassing, so they can just throw whatever they want at me in a way. But obviously, like I
Yeah,
think when cases get even harder, it's like you're gonna have so many more questions to then understand what their business is, right?
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, so that
Mhm.
was great. Great job with clarifying questions. With the structure, great. I saw revenue, price, and volume, the internal,
Yeah.
and the aspects of the environment, like the market itself, competitors.
Mm.
Great job, with like coming up with that structure. A lot better than yesterday, with the cost. But great job, great job.
Yeah.
Um, a quick note is that I felt that the structure overall could at first I put, oh, the structure, it would be benefited by being a little more customized, by being,
Mhm.
by having, oh, this is a luxury brand, or this is,
Yeah.
bringing up some examples, oh, like Louis Vuitton, or whatever, like Prada or whatever. So
Yeah.
it could have been a little bit more customized, but as you
Mhm.
start going on further and further, and going on more with the details of each bucket, I felt that it became more customized. And I don't know if you felt the same way too, but I felt it became much
Yeah.
more customized.
Yeah.
Just a brief note about like the communication though. I felt like you had the big objective at top, right? The revenue,
Yeah.
and then you had your
Mhm.
two buckets, and then underneath each bucket, I think
Yeah.
what you had done was you of course stated the objective, and then you said
Mhm.
bucket one, bucket two, and then
Mhm.
one, two, and then one, two. But
Yeah.
then from there, I think you kind of went like all the way through like this,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think it could have been like, filling out each one by one, so I
Yeah.
could follow each
Mhm.
point. I'm not
so,
sure
so
if that's, yeah. What do you think
Yes,
about that?
yeah. So you're saying that so when I do the first bucket, then do the second one, then once I
Yeah,
get to you're saying once I get to the third, so when I'm describing like say quantity sold, then describe the two like points I
yeah.
have.
Like fill them
Yeah.
out one by one, because I once you start going, I started like being confused of which bucket was which. So
Yeah.
I think that, yeah. Do
Yeah,
you see what
because
I mean though? Like how it could
yeah,
be
yeah,
more
I totally
clear.
get that. I was
Yeah,
confused about that too because my case coach, he was like, oh, you want to follow like this kind of order, right?
yeah,
But it's like, oh, when I get to the final, like the third level,
yeah.
do
Like
I
do them
follow
one
that?
by one. Yeah.
Then go one by one. So say I said, oh, so my first we're addressing the question of increasing revenue for our luxury premium brand women's shoe client. Then I will revenue extrinsic. Then when I get to like when I say, oh, we're looking at
The third round. Yeah.
the third
First
round, so my third layer, then I say, oh, we're looking at volume. Underneath that, we're looking at the quantity sold, product categories, and so forth. Yeah, okay. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, yeah. You can see how it could be like easier for me to
Yeah,
follow
yeah,
along,
for
right?
sure. Like it's easier
Yeah,
for me to, I just thought that, oh, they said that go like this, right? So
yeah,
that's
yeah,
why I was trying to do that, but that's so
yeah.
much easier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no problem at all. No problem at all. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, but definitely all your points were great. All of your, yeah, you just really great structure, great structure.
Thank
Um,
you.
so let me see. So flesh out each final bucket.
Mhm.
Great. So yeah, I think that would just take your communication and structure to the next level, just like going each one.
Yeah.
You like one, and then okay. Anyway, I think you get it. Yeah. So that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So the first brainstorm about entering the men's market,
Mhm. Mhm.
you had a great execution of sharing your idea, and sharing it. The only thing that I would say is that because we're redoing the case, you had an idea of already how to answer, right?
Yeah.
But like because of that, you didn't take a pause. You didn't say, "Oh, let's take a second to structure my thoughts."
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
just want
Take time. Yeah.
yeah, I just
Mhm.
wanted to know, like, yeah, if this was a brand new case, right, you wouldn't just have an answer. So
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
sure you take a pause before your brainstorm. But by the way, great answer though.
Thank.
Yeah, going on to the exhibit. So yeah, and so right off the bat, like you had a good idea of what to do. And well, what I kind of noted for a bit is, oh, could you explain like why you're performing that calculation? Like bring it back to the objective, right?
Mhm.
And so just bring that in for a little bit, instead of like just rushing into. That's just my opinion.
Mhm.
But I think that'd be helpful. It's like, oh, where are you
Yeah.
going with this?
Yeah.
And then as well, there were slight issues with the zeros in regards to like taking out zeros and all the stuff. You ended up with the right numbers, but I think just reviewing, like, because like you removed. I'm gonna pull up
Mhm.
the exhibit really quick. Um, let's see. So just as like a trick for the math, you had started by dividing, as well. It may have been more helpful. It may have been more helpful to like figure out revenue first, so to multiply these two first and then divide by this. But I think that's fine. It's a little nitpicky thing,
Mhm.
but yeah,
Mhm.
in the end, you got the right answers. But for example, here with like dividing 2,500 by 80, if you
Mhm.
remove like 1 0 each, that's 250 divided by 80, not 25 not 20. It's 250 divided by 8, not
Mhm.
25 divided by 8. So I mean, it
Mhm.
was just a little nitpicky. I knew what you were doing, but like,
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
it, it just was a little bit. But
Yeah.
regardless, that's fine. Um, I think okay, so we'll just keep going. Yeah, great again, great job walking through the math you're doing. Definitely so much better than like the other couple times. Like I just
Mhm.
knew exactly where you're going. You worked down like what you were saying made sense, and
Mhm.
so like definitely. I mean obviously just like anyone, like the speed could be better, but like you
Yeah.
you were getting the answers right. You're getting the answers right, and I knew exactly what you're doing, and so I think that's just like that's like the main point.
Mhm.
Um, definitely. Great job with the synthesis, like focus on capitalizing on the two biggest revenue. Just great job with the synthesis. You nailed it. With looking at the other products, but looking at the bags and whatever. But I will say something that I definitely noticed. Is that besides the math and besides everything, and this is totally okay. There there is still a little bit of an issue with nerves. Like
Mhm.
I can tell a little bit, and like you're good at math. I don't know, like I don't know if like that's something that plays in my
Yeah.
case math, but you're fine with the math. You just I think you need to start telling yourself that, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm good
You're
at
right.
math, I'm good at math. And
Mhm.
then like because you're nervous, like the result is like there's been some like Freudian slips here and there where it's like, for example, at the end, oh, I recommend bags and sunglasses when you meant bags and shoes, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
or something like that. So just really just taking a step back, you're fine. You're fine with the
Mhm.
math. I think it's between you and me, right? Just because we're case partners, like I
Mhm.
think it's getting a little bit in your head about, oh,
Yeah.
there's math now, so like, I'm not so good at this one.
Yeah.
I think it's getting in your head a bit, but you're fine.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah.
Start
Mhm.
telling yourself, right? I really actually like mean that. Start telling yourself, you
Yeah,
got
yeah,
this.
I need to tell myself because you're right about that because I tell myself like I know it's elementary math, but I tell myself like
Yeah,
I'm not good at math or
yeah,
like I can't
yeah,
do math with the calculator. So then when I'm like doing it, I'm like, oh, like
yeah, yeah,
making it a bigger deal than it needs to be.
yeah,
And like looking back at it, I'm like, oh, that's not hard. Like,
yeah,
and the
yeah,
main task is the synthesis,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
more than the numbers. But you're right about that. Like I need to get, tell myself that and be more
Yeah.
confident about my ability to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, I really do mean. I've read some books about psychology and having that, like, just that click in your head of
Positive
like,
psychology. Yeah.
yeah, I really do mean that. Like, start telling yourself. I really think that would be a game changer. It's just like, I'm good
Yeah.
at math. I'm good at math. You know what I mean? Like, I'm
Yeah.
not the best maybe, but
Yeah.
I'm good enough. I'm good.
Yeah.
So I actually really do think that would be helpful.
I've
I
written down.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Mm,
So moving on. So again, great synthesis. Moving forward, capitalizing two bigs revenue. And then next with the brainstorm new locations, you went with cost, customer, competitors, and legal. So those are just solid buckets. Those are just bread and butter, just like coming up with locations, making a business decision. I think that's like in all cases, but it's just like just right there and just you nailed it.
Mhm.
Um, so you nailed it, and that was just standard and just good job. You could go a little bit like above and beyond, right? With like creative ideas, or just coming up with maybe like coming up with more something that my case coach and I talked about is like maybe you can come up with like I don't know anything about the luxury brands market, but you could come
Mhm.
up with like um, gosh, for example, I had done a merger and acquisition case back a while ago,
Mhm.
and with my case coach, and when we talked about like acquiring a donut shop by a burger chain like McDonald's acquiring a burger shop, I had brought up like, oh, we could do a merger and acquisition, kind of like how Taco Bell and KFC did an acquisition, right? Now you see Taco Bell's KFC together. So like
Mhm.
he said that that's a great bringing in like a real life example,
Yeah.
bringing in like
Yeah.
a just a and I don't know
Yeah.
anything about I don't know anything
Yeah.
about luxury
I guess
brands,
like
but
also with like a joint venture, I could have given an example of like a celebrity
yeah, yeah,
design, right? Or I
yeah,
could have said like how the Birkin bag has done like a new product, could have been like how Birkin they've done like a fur bag,
yeah,
so maybe
yeah,
that's something we explore, right? Or like
yeah,
acquisition, something cool could have been like if they acquire like they do like a pop-up or something, like maybe that could attract
yeah.
more attention, right?
Or also like just like seeing things you see in literal life, like bringing in some K-pop stars to put on some Louis
Yeah,
Vuitton stuff,
exactly.
or bring in
Yeah,
some
exactly. Like celebrity
actors,
urban
yeah,
K-pop.
like
Exactly.
Adam,
Ariana.
Adam Driver stuff, get
Yeah.
some partnerships like that. So just
Yeah,
put in some real
I
life,
can give more examples. Yeah, exactly. Like
exactly,
I should
yeah.
add more, like think like myself and like add more examples in there for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
exactly. Because you see them around. You see them
yeah.
around. You could definitely come with them.
Mm.
Again. By the way, I'm all saying this on the aspect of like an outside, giving it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I am like not good at it myself. I
Yeah.
still have a. But I hope you know what I mean, right? Just from
No,
the
no, no.
outside. Yeah.
I know you're very
Yeah.
helpful. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I
Absolutely.
totally see how this can add more like more color to a case, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Like bringing in like KFC and Taco Bell, or like bringing in Blackpink, K-pop to
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
Prada or something. Like
Mhm.
bringing in some real life examples to like
Mhm.
really sell your points.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So continue forward. So yeah, just really solid buckets. But like it could go above and beyond. But you just
Mhm.
again you nailed it. You got the
Yeah.
key points. So next is brainstorm with new market entry. The four ideas. Yeah, definitely. Oh, definitely. I think that it's a good that you have the acquisition joint venture. Oh, sorry, Lovepreet.
It's fine.
Yeah, so you mentioned the four ideas. Sorry about that. My dad was talking to me. The
Okay.
acquisition, joint venture, marketing, sales. So yeah, you just went through a great job. I was surprised in a good way that you had all these ideas, but also I'd written out all the pros and cons. I'm just curious, did you have like a little table, or did you just
Yeah.
come up with the ideas and
I,
just knew it? Yeah.
yeah, so I came up with the idea and then I wrote down a pro and
Oh,
con for each. Yeah.
that's great. That looks great. That
With
looks
a lot of
great.
them, the con is gonna be cost,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, yeah.
that works, right? And then with some of them, it's like, oh, the market. Like one thing my case coach really helped me with, he was like, Lovepreet, like think about it like this. Always when you look at something, it's like, oh, there's three things I can look at. When there's a new market entry, there's three cons: cost, marketing, legal. So it's like those things just should just come to your mind. Like also when we become consultants, it's like that when there's this kind of problem through experience too, that oh, there's three things we can look at. This, the problem's gonna be somewhere here, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mhm.
Okay, great, great. Yeah, I'm gonna write that down for myself, by the way. Cost, marketing, and legal.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, great, great. Pros and cons, like, great four ideas. Yeah, you basically nailed it. With a new product. I'm not so sure about the new product idea, just because we had talked already about
Mhm.
the exhibit. But yeah, I guess if it was still in the area of bags and shoes
Yeah,
market.
because you had said market entry expansion. So one
Hmm.
way to expand, I thought, oh, maybe it's having a new product, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then overall, just with your conclusion, just yeah, great job with even with the thank you and then recap objective and immediately
Yeah.
recommendation. And then revenue and then just great risk. That was just that was just the
Mhm.
biggest driving point. It's just like, oh, what if those three different products, the sunglasses or whatever, what if Yeah, exactly what you said. Exactly what you said. Like, what if our assumptions of are incorrect? So that was just a great. And yeah, just great next steps too. Just addressing the yeah, really just really solid conclusion. That was,
Thank
I
you.
mean, everything was strong, but definitely the conclusion was stronger. So
Yes, thank you, thank
yeah.
you. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you for doing this with me again. It feels much better.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
I
So
really
and then
appreciate
as well, the case took 26 minutes, so you were right there with it.
it. Okay, that's good.
So
Yeah.
overall, definitely just like great job reviewing the so just overall like the big things I noticed, to take away from it is just I mean for one, the small one is to reconsider how you share your structure.
Yeah.
So but that's a quick fix, and just whatever.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah. And
two.
then I'll say also pause each time, like when you're asked a question, pause, right? Like even here, I knew what to anticipate, but like always pause. Like I shouldn't jump the gun to answer quickly.
Mhm. Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah.
So yeah. So reconfiguration
Mhm.
as structure. That's good. But overall, I think, I think the big thing is the Freudian slips, and just from that, like the nerves. I mean, just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
because
I have a
you're just
comment.
yeah,
Mhm.
just you're good. You've done a
Mhm.
lot of practice. Like
Mhm.
you're
Mhm.
really good.
Thank you.
So just getting that in your head, like I got this. Like I'm confident.
No, and Stephen,
Like,
I really need to work on that because like look, the interview on Friday, I have to go in person and meet these
oh,
people
geez.
and sit with
Yeah,
them and do the work. So I can't be like, I'm obviously gonna be nervous, but it's like I
yeah,
can't show them that, you know?
yeah.
It's like, oh,
No,
I'm not nervous.
yeah. No, I'm very serious about this. I play. Do you know Harry Styles?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
What did he
before.
ever do?
Yeah, he won the Grammys. But
Yeah.
before I go on a first date, I listen to a lot of Harry Styles, so that
Um,
like I'm like a really like romantic kind of guy or whatever. I mean, Harry
um,
Styles is great. I listen to his. So I think before you go into the interview, I'm not even kidding. Like play some like hard like confident music. Play some
yeah, I
like
know that
you know what
my
I mean?
sister was telling me today that like, oh, make a playlist and like listen
Yeah,
to that, like hype yourself up.
yeah. Just
You
like
know? Yeah, I need to do that.
yeah.
I'm actually
I,
gonna watch interviews too of like Gigi Hadid, Anna Wintour, because they have this like elegance to them, like confidence, but like they're such warm people. So I should watch their videos too, like to give that sort of energy when I go in.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I mean, my
Yeah.
hype song is DNA by Kendrick Lamar. It's like
Yeah, yeah,
I got it in my DNA. I'm
yeah,
successful or
yeah, yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, definitely just take like I even just like 3 4 songs and then just listen.
yeah, yeah,
I'm not even kidding because
yeah,
there are some psychological studies where like even just thinking of the word like retirement makes a
mhm,
person walk slower. Just like literally
yeah,
just yeah. And so
mhm,
if you just think like success, like songs about success,
yeah,
like
success.
this is like a really serious like psychology
Mhm.
hack. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
To like
yeah,
put a song like that. So like
yeah.
get that in your head and like
And we're
clean up
all
the
living in our own reality, you know? So it's like if you have
exactly.
that stuff in your head, that's what you're executing.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
I'm really serious. Like
mhm,
clean that up, listen
yeah,
to some music and just, maybe like even just put like a self affirmations or something, or
yeah, yeah.
a post-it note on your like bathroom mirror, like I fucking got this or something. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, me, yeah, I
Um
need to do that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So really just take some of those, yeah. And so it just a little bit. There's some psychological studies where like even just like seeing the words like slow, gray, retirement makes a person walk like someone
Mhm,
walked faster through a hallway, got that little test and they walked half as slow like
mhm,
on the way back by seeing like a couple of words that meant like gray or slow or old. So
mhm,
even just getting to the interview, just thinking like
yeah,
confident, like assured,
mhm,
good at good and all those things. It
yeah,
could
yeah,
really just flip the switch and
yeah,
turn the interview
yeah,
into yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So really,
I need
but
to have that. Mhm.
so really that's the one that is just like the nerves, and it is it's fine to be nervous, right? Everyone, I'm
Yeah,
sure it's really
yeah,
nervous, but like being so much so that you start like saying Freudian slips, like you're missaying or whatever, or like a little bit on the math. It's like wait, these numbers don't add up.
mhm,
That could definitely it could be the game changer. It could be the game changer.
yeah,
So
yeah,
as much as just some self affirmations and good
yeah.
music. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'll definitely do that. I'll work on that today. Okay. And
Yeah.
we're saying to meet at 8:30 in the evening today, right?
Um.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
I'm gonna end
8:30.
the recording right now, really quick.
Yeah.